speeds for B, and we're good.
My name is Denitza Leon, and I'm the founder and creative director of Ooh I Love. We had the opportunity to work with Nike LA for Latino Heritage Month. Really, the ask was to design a gallery wall at the entrance of their Nike LA headquarters to showcase their team, all the Nike LA employees that are Latino or wanted to participate, and really just telling their stories of traditions, remembering moments that they cherish, and just tell their story as Latino employees. I got the phone call that we would be working on this project. Immediately my head was like, what the heck are we gonna do for this? How am I gonna bring this to life? As a Latina creative director, for me, I felt like the pressure was on. The pressure to really represent the Latino community, especially for Nike employees. And I got to thinking about how I grew up in my childhood. And growing up in a fábrica where my grandparents owned this business of sewing, I started thinking about all the employees that they had there working with them and how they came from other parts of Latin America, South America, Mexico. It could have been from other countries, but really what brought them together were these pieces of threads, these moments of creating something together. I started thinking about Nike as a company and the threads that they use for laces, for materials such as like the textures that they have in wardrobe, clothing, the athletes. And really that's what brings us together, is every thread, every string, every moment. And that's how I felt we were going to bring this vision to life. I truly feel it's so important for us to add emotions, feelings, storytelling into our work, because that's what moves people. You can create an amazing commercial or you can create a great product, but at the end of the day, what's the meaning behind it? How do we market something? If there's no story behind it, if there's no vision, you want people to understand, well, what's that meaning? So the process behind the installation really was gathering all these ideas that I had and really thinking about, okay, let's start from the basics, creating a mood board. With the mood board, I was really looking for ways to use string or ways to use threads. And once I consolidated the ideas of like, okay, we're gonna use threads, we're gonna connect the word Unidos. At that moment, I started thinking about how do we go about showcasing the Unidos word. And I started seeing inspiration of threading across letters. And I thought this would be perfect way for us to unify all the stories or submissions that the employees would be sending in. In the design, you're going to see the U, the D, and the S connecting all the stories within the gallery wall. You're also going to be seeing doilies, because one of the asks from Nike was incorporating lace. After we had that first call, I had no lace in the design, but hearing that, it made me think, oh yes, like that's another texture and another element within our Latino community and what we use, whether it's in our tableware or dresses, even ribbons in the hair. It made sense. And that's what you're going to be seeing in the design, is doilies with strings running through them, almost mimicking papel picado or the table set that you see when you visit your grandmother's. So the colors chosen for this project were yellow, a red pink tone, blue, purple, and really these colors represent vibrancy, especially in the Latino community. We love color. You visit some countries, they have beautiful homes that are so vibrant, or even the dishes that we make. And really that is what tells the story. That's what connects us. And that's what you see in the strings. Each one connects, unifies us in some way. So some of the requirements that were asked of the Nike employees were to submit photos that represent tradition, food, moments in their life that really just make up who they are as a person. We got a lot of great submissions from places of home for them. Some from Puerto Rico, some from El Salvador, others from Miami and Guatemala. Just seeing those photos really, I think one made me cry reading their story, because you can tell how much passion and love they have for their family And I know it's personal, but reading about other people's stories that I think are so important and make up who we are in our community and I think ourselves as human beings. So once we got the employee submissions, we had these mock-ups. Once we started realizing that some employees had 4 images or some had just 1, we wanted to pull a quote from their submission that would represent the images that they shared and what Unidos means to them. We made each print 11 by 17, and we knew that we wanted to thread each of the stories, but the question was, how are we going to do that? So we used this leather hole puncher to put holes through each one of the submissions. So we decided to weave each one of the stories because truly the strings are what bring us together, and the importance of the colors that would be associated with each one of the stories to connecting back to the word Unidos, meaning together, united as one. This is the first time ever that Nike LA was having someone take over their gallery walls. It was completely a blank canvas. Our team came in and we ended up installing the Unidos sign. The way that we decided how the stories would be displayed, being around the word Unidos, was so important because the strings that are being used across each letter is connecting the employee stories, and also the visuals that were used in last year's event, Nike's community events that they've done, is what unifies us and brings us together. To work on this project with Nike and the Nike LA team, honestly, it feels special. It was an opportunity where I get to share a piece of my story as well, of how my upbringing really shaped who I am as a Latina woman, as a creative director, as a leader, as a daughter, a granddaughter. I'm so grateful for those life experiences because growing up in an environment where my grandparents came to this country for opportunity, and then being around people who also strive for those same opportunities really allowed me to tell the story of Unidos and what it means to me as well, visually. To come to this country, we make our own story. A lot of our community makes things by hand, and that's what I saw in my experiences. I never realized that my work would be a place where I get to tell my story. I'd say Nike means storytelling, representation, and community as a whole. And I'm so grateful that Nike chose who I love and myself to be part of this story as well. Unidos, a woven story. Each thread is a symbol, each moment is a memory. Together, they tell the story of Unidos.